All right, let's move on. Super Mario Run came out, I believe, last week on iOS only. Ugh. Why do you always do this to me, guys? Seriously. All right, so for those of you that don't know, all right, so I have an iPhone here, right? This is not my iPhone. Whose iPhone is this? I bought it to fix it and sell it. I hate these fucking things. I will never use one of these things again in my life. I fucking detest iPhones. The reason why can be something for Technobuzz, but I'm not going to get into it now, but I hate iPhone. So whenever fucking companies do shit like this and they release something on iOS but they don't concurrently release it on Android, I know they've said that they are going to release it on Android in the future, but why don't they concurrently release it? That's such bullshit. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. And I was going to look up some statistics before this show and I forgot to do it, but I know for a fact that the market, if you look at global, the global market share for Android is much higher than the global market share of Apple. In the US, I believe that the market share of Android and Apple, I still think Android edges it out a little bit. Okay, so yeah. So why wouldn't you release it on Android concurrently? You're alienating, let's throw a number out there. Again, I didn't look this up, but let's say it's 60-40. That's probably about what it is in the US, maybe. Let's say that you're alienating 60% of your base. Why would you fucking do that right off the bat? That doesn't make sense. And it's not just Nintendo that does this. This is kind of a bad example, but this is the most recent one that I can think of. I bought this game, a board game, not really a board game, I guess, a dice game called Zombie Dice. Zombie Dice is a nice little quick game that you can kind of play like when you're waiting for food at a restaurant or like really quickly with your family to settle a dispute or something like that. And it has an app. So you can download an app and you can play the game on your phone as well. And they promote the app in the package when you buy the game. So like, oh great, so I can go and download this app. And so then you look at it and it says, oh, App Store only. And you're like, fuck! Why do you do this? Like, I know it costs money and resources, time, whatever. Android and Apple both use different programming languages, so you have to translate the whole fucking thing over to Android. I get it. But especially when you're a huge AAA title like fucking Super Mario Brothers, Nintendo, why would you not fucking release it concurrently? And then I got a little less pissed off when I started to kind of think about it a little bit, and I realized, okay, if you look at the global market share, yes, Android beats out Apple, no question. It's probably something like 70-30 globally. So why then would they release it on iOS first? And then I remember, okay, well, Nintendo's a Kyoto-based company. It's super Japanese company. And in Japan, the numbers are not even close. Again, I lived there for 3.5 years. I know this firsthand. The numbers of iOS versus Android in Japan are probably literally 90% iOS, 10% Android. I'm not joking. It's not even close. In Japan, almost everyone has an iPhone. It's not close at all. And it literally is probably something like 90-10. I swear to God. iOS dominates in Japan specifically. Why? I don't really know. I mean, you could kind of try to play armchair psychologist and say that the Apple philosophy of Zen and simplicity kind of is appealing to the Japanese who like simple things. But I don't know exactly what the reason is. That again, that's just armchair psychology. But yeah, this is a Japanese company releasing to... Yes, they're releasing globally, so you can make the argument that they should look at the global numbers, but this is a Kyoto-based company. It's super Japanese, so of course they're going to market more to their Japanese people than everyone else. And maybe it's that they don't even think about the numbers globally. Maybe they just assume that it's the same everywhere else. So they're like, oh, well, only 10% of people in the world use Android, so why should we fucking release it at the same time? Like, let's just release it to iOS first. Let's see how it goes, and... let's go from there. And if you think about it that way, that's why I'm a little bit less pissed off about it. Because, yeah, I can kind of see that side of the argument. So yeah, after I saw that, I was a little, after I didn't see that, after I thought about that, I was a little bit less pissed off about it, but I'm still a little angry. I really wish that they would have considered the market share of Android. There's a lot of people out there pissed off right now that they can't play it, and I would be one of those people. But as far as Super Mario Run goes, it seems that some people really like it, and a lot of people really don't like it. So there's a positive review done over on Kotaku. They seem to really like the game. There's some really cool competitive multiplayer aspects to it that are really cool. Unfortunately, about half of the reviews on the US App Store right now, 53,921 total reviews as of the writing of this article on Gizmodo. And half of those are single-star reviews with users complaining about the app crashing, the fact that the game is not playable offline, and some just saying that it's not a very fun game. It seems that a lot of people that can actually play the game would say that it's fun. And on iOS, there's not really an excuse for apps crashing because the hardware is proprietary. So yeah, there's different versions of the iPhone, but for the most part, you're marketing to a single type of phone. There shouldn't be issues of it crashing. And especially not on iPhone 6s and iPhone 7s and shit like that. That's really not cool. So let's address the other issues. So the other issue, not available offline. Now, Nintendo has come out and said that this is for piracy reasons. And there is, like I said, a kind of competitive multiplayer aspect to the game. So of course it needs an internet connection for that. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I don't care about that. That's totally cool. So again, this goes back to Japanese culture. In Japan, including in the subway systems, it doesn't matter where you are in the country. You can be in the most bumfuck rural place. And I've been to these bumfuck rural places many times on vacation because those tend to be where like all the hot springs and the relaxing places are that you really want to go, or the nature. You will have a full cell signal 99.9999999% of the time. And I don't just mean a signal, I mean a full signal. All bars filled. You will have it 99.999% of the time. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. That's just how Japan is. It's a small country. The infrastructure costs to branch out and build towers everywhere and repeaters in the subway systems is minimal compared to a country like America that is fucking huge. Now, in America, I'm currently based in Arizona. Arizona has horrible internet service, especially on the interstate, where you're driving basically through the middle of nowhere in the desert. You will drop cell service off and on throughout your entire drive. It doesn't matter where you're going. That's just what it's like in America. So, of course, Americans are kind of bitching about this. And from what I don't know about subways in America, but from what I've heard, that especially with certain carriers, you can't get service in the New York subway. So there's a lot of subway people that are bitching about not being able to play while they're on their daily commute. Again, in Japan, that's not a problem. And again, they shouldn't be expected to really know that about America, especially being a Japanese company that they are. So again, I'm kind of more forgiving about the whole internet connectivity aspect of it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you don't have internet, you don't have internet. What can you really do these days without internet? I mean, there are games that you can play on your phone without an internet connection, but why don't you just bust out your 3DS and play some like Super Mario 3D or something like that, like or New Super Mario Brothers, whatever. Like, I feel that this is just reaching for reasons to complain, and it's an online game, guys. It's an online game. It needs an internet connection. I'm sorry if you don't like that. Hearthstone needs an internet connection. Are you gonna bitch about that? Like, come on, guys. Come on. It's not that big of a deal. Come on.